school farm right around the corner. That is why more films have taken place in 6 Points, Texas than in any other spot on Earth. If you look over to the right, behind the park is a body of water. That is pretty much anything we want it to be. It was the Black Lagoon in Creature from the Black Lagoon. Bodega Bay in Alfred Hitchcock's classic, The Birds. This was the entire Pacific Ocean on the television series McHale's Navy with Ernest Borgnine. You get the idea, nothing is really what it seems to be in Hollywood. A good example of that is King Kong, directed by Peter Jackson. Now, of course, Kong was famous for its use of state-of-the-art computer-generated images, but the movie also used special effects that have been around since the birth of the motion pictures, including over 800 miniature sets. You're looking at a miniature right now, the SS Venture, the ship that took everyone to Skull Island. Well, the miniature of the Venture is directly ahead of us. I don't want you to get the idea that a theatrical miniature is a little boat that'll float around in your bathtub. They're more elaborate than that. Take a look over on the left. This is the Venture. What we're going to do is come down into the water to give you a sea-level view of the ship. This is exactly the way the movie camera would have seen it. As a matter of fact, director Peter Jackson would absolutely refuse to call a detailed model like that a miniature. He would refer to it as a miniature. Go ahead and take a shortcut to the Prom Graveyard and head into Little Europe. We're never more specific than Little Europe.
Je m'appelle Jimmy Fallon. Je vais été baguette. Non, Sally, non! Hallo, ich bin Jimmy Fallon. Karl Schnitzer. Ich glaub, die steht auf mich.
The Cobblestones we're riding across right now is where Billy Crystal ran with the Bulls of Pamplona in the opening of City Slickers. It's where Tom Cruise motorcycled with the Bulls in Night and Day with docked, crawled, or scuttled across these bricks. During the 30s and 40s, Hollywood really was just a factory town. All the studios would turn out their product as fast as they could make it, and every studio had a specialty. Republic Studios, for example, were known for westerns. Warner Brothers for gangster films. And Jim was known for its lavish musicals. Well, here at Universal, we had a specialty too. We were the House of Horror.
What is it now? The monster. He's in the woods. Get out the bloodhounds. Raise all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me. I'm ready! Take your torches and go!
That's always a bad idea. It never works. If you're a fan of horror films, you might have been a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Buffy. Anytime they had a flashback to Angel in 19th century Ireland, David Boreanaz would film those scenes right back there in Little Europe. I mentioned David Boreanaz because he and Emily Deschanel were here a few months ago filming an episode of Bones. They worked inside of Stage 50 up ahead. 50 is where they created the crime scene. Take a look.
Look, they're sweet.
He looks very upset.
When I talked to him, the guy...
They actually put fresh papers inside the machine. That seems like silly detail. But remember, on a movie suite, that'll show up 20 or 30 feet wide, though. And we also just have to change the color scheme. We can quickly turn this into the Los Angeles MTA. Oh. the alarm. Everyone, come on, John.
Everyone, you just experienced a simulation of an 8.3 earthquake.
That was inspired by the Universal Film earthquake. And by the way, here is how that effect looks on TV.
What's going on?
I could use a break after that kind of action. Tell you what, let's just cruise on into the quiet, sleepy little village of Amity on Amity Island. You remember this from Steven Spielberg's blockbuster Jaws. Now, to avoid any unpleasantness like you might have seen in the film, we have a patrol boat on permanent duty right here. Your safety is our primary concern. Now, of course, Jaws took place on the 4th of July. Oh no, Finn, Big Finn. Excuse me, I've just got to warn the diver. Scotty! Scotty, get over to the boat! Scotty, Scotty, don't bob up and down like a wax dummy. Get in the boat! Scotty, boat! Scott, hello? Scotty? Scotty? That's it. If I could just direct your attention to the yellow barrel in the center here, that barrel's chained to the dock. And we have a hook and bait attached to the barrel. If we can get the shark's attention, we're going to take care of this in short order, I promise. Oh yeah, look! He's taking the bait! He's taking the dock. Don't be alarmed. We're completely safe behind the high-octane fuel. Swell. I give up. What else could possibly go wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, meet Bruce. Bruce? The Haddock War? There that, Bruce. By the way, that shark was named by Steven Spielberg himself. Mr. Spielberg named Bruce the Shark after his lawyer. Now, take a good look here at Amity. Do the facades seem at all familiar? You saw them every week on the television series Murder, She Wrote. This was used as the town of Cabot Cove. In the opening credits, every week you saw Angela Lansbury ride a bicycle right in front of those facades. In fact, Jessica Fletcher's home is over here on the right as we come around the corner. Take another look over there on the left. You'll notice Bruce is the only shark in the world that can swim backward. Look at that. And believe it or not, that shark over there works better than the shark you saw in the movie. You don't have to take my word on that. You could always just ask the big man.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio mics. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited. The shark worked well enough for a while there and had the biggest hit of all time. So I really owe the shark a lot.
I've shown you some of our metropolitan sets, our foreign sets, our historical sets. Right now, we're heading back to the suburban portion of the back lot. This is where we have all the residential sets. As a matter of fact, we are coming up to probably one of the most famous streets in America. Get your cameras out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wisteria Lane from ABC's Desperate Housewives. I promise no one gets closer to these houses than you do, except for the actual ladies that live here. Take a look over on the left side of the tram. This gold house house with the trellises on either side of the porch is the home of Gabrielle Solis, played by Eva Longoria. Gabby's friends Bob and Lee live right next door. And coming up over on the left, the pale yellow house, number 4353, that's the home of Susan Meyer, played by Terry Hatcher. Right next door to Susan is the greenhouse that belongs to Lynette Scavo, played by Felicity Huffman. Now, hanging from Lynette's porch is a real good example of the wisteria, which gives Wisteria Lane its name. Although, to be completely honest, that's not live wisteria. That's plastic that's shaped like wisteria, but you get the idea. Directly ahead at the end of the cul-de-sac is the pink house. That used to be the home of Edie Britt, played by Nicolette Sheridan, although last season it's where Vanessa Williams was living as Renee Perry. Over on the left, we're circling around Wisteria Park. Over the years, quite a few birthday parties have taken place right here. Block parties a couple of years ago. In the mid-season cliffhanger, a Christmas party took place right here when a plane crashed in the middle of the street. Not every actor got out of that episode alive. As we head back up the street once again, take a look over on the left. The big blue house is the home of Karen McCluskey. The greenhouse right next door is where Felicia Tillman was living, at least until the season finale. Now she's not really living anywhere anymore. The brick house right next door is the home of Bree Vandekamp, played by Marcia Cross. And next to Bree is the home of the late Mary Alice Young. That's the voice of Brenda Strong, who narrates every episode. Before Mary Alice moved in there, that had been the Cleaver home on Leave It to Beaver. This was once Beaver's hometown of Mayfield. And from time to time, this has been Sunnydale on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I know it seems a little quiet right now.
You're a bad banana with a greasy black beard.
Coming up over on the right, we have just the largest ever constructed on the back lot. Right next door to it is probably the most famous set ever constructed on the lot. You don't recognize it from this angle, do you? Let's go around front. You're looking at the Bates Motel from Alfred Hitchcock's masterpiece, Psycho. As we pull forward, look above the motel office. You can see Norman Bates' home looming over the structure exactly as you remember from the film. And hey, that's Marion Crane's car parked right in front. The trunk is popped. I wonder if Marion is just checking in. Oh, my mistake. Marion seems to be checking out. This is kind of awkward. You may have noticed this. Just stay calm. No cause for alarm. No need to photograph anything. We're just minding our own business. Bill, why don't we roll? We'll just head up to the house, shall we? There is an interesting fact about the house at the top of the hill. That house is built on a 3/4 scale, a little smaller than a house would normally be, to create the illusion the house is farther away than it actually is. Opportunity. Just get your cameras out and hang on tight. What you see all around you here is what remains of the neighborhood where Tom Cruise was hiding out in War of the Worlds. And by the way, this is a genuine 747. We brought that plane in here and then ripped it apart just to create this incredible set.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen, close your eyes, okay? Just get them closed.
Despite the use of these life-size realistic sets, War of the Worlds featured over 500 effect shots. That's more than Spielberg has used in any other movie, but as you see, the audience got a whole lot of bang for their on purpose, because trees and wilderness